And I'm thinking, it's like, was it the title? Has Christianity done anything good for the world? Is religion good for societies? And JP, or they're talking about how JP's talking about how Christianity focused on the individual. And then right now she's talking about how the world is tipping over to being non-religious. So, oh man, there's a whole lot I want to get into with this, but even as an atheist, I know that majority of the world being non-religious, the whole function of religion was to keep people in a type of bubble of perception, and religion was a good way to do that because it gave everybody, kind of it satisfies everyone's ego. It does. Religion satisfies people's ego. You know, you think you can live forever. You think that you're equal to every other man, you know? Things like that.
I've had in some respect.
So I'm going to continue watch this. I'm going to continue and watch this. Make some more commentary. But I just want to kind of like, I want to talk about this because it's kind of like, well, I mean, Christianity is basically, it went through its own Darwinian process. You know, all religions went through a Darwinian process. And those that were good at, you know, retaining people's ego, when society needs to scale, you know, people need to keep intact their ego. So Christianity was a scaling utility for that. Well, yeah, let's continue on here, because he also has like a Darwinian. He's got a Darwinian like angle, right? Like he's got a Christian foundation, but it's like not atheist, but Darwinian kind of backing. So I think that he's described Christianity as being kind of like Darwinistically successful, right? I don't know. I think. But yeah, I'm just going to continue watching this and then make more comments later. Okay, so right now we're talking about, is religion any good? He's like, what do you mean by religion? Because he's thinking about two things right now: the dogmatic and the spiritual. So dogmatic, he's saying, it tends to be with people that are more conservative in nature. So I think what he's saying is people that are they want something more tangible. They want something more provable, something more in hand. But I'm gonna continue watching. I think that's what he's saying, though.
Spiritual element, let's say, tends to appeal to people who are more liberal in their temperamental fundamentals. And
so JP's kind of just gone through this explanation of how religion's been this tug of war between the kind of dogmatic, kind of, I guess, explicitly defined, right, versus the spiritual, which I guess is just not as defined, or yeah, I guess. Continue here. So far, he's kind of like, you know, he said like religion has always been the tug of war between the two. So he's talking about this concept of the sovereign individual, and he's saying, you know, it could be, you know, how much meaning does that have? Well, what does that really mean? It could be just a meme, he says. JP says. I think what we will discover is that the more controlled society gets, the more the components, the members of that society will just become inanimate objects. I mean, he's not saying that, but that's what I'm saying. Now, there's two ways you can run. I mean, you can keep the people themselves. You know, you can keep them in kind of like a utilitarian state. You know, you could keep them, you know, dedicated to just their function, or you could take the souls, okay, these souls that are people, and you could put them in a state in which they are to be immersed in a safe chaos. And within that safe chaos, the souls become the heart, collectively become the heart of this greater machine. That's something of my own. But yeah, I'll carry forward. So right now they're talking about the gratitude of how the effort of the masses has come to kind of self-assemble or assemble these particular occasions or these particular things, these particular privileges, you know, yeah, just like in general, right? So she's talking about, you know, gratitude for being able to be there because of how, you know, the structure beneath her has assembled the resources to put it together. You know, everything from the microphone to the train that brought her there, you know. I guess that's what they're saying here. But I'm gonna keep going. So what JP is saying with all that is, I think what he's saying with all that is that's come together through kind of the collective efforts that would only exist together with the adhesive of religion, or the adhesive of that underpinning religious undertone thing, you know. So yeah, that religious undertone is what that has been that adhesive that has assembled these things. I don't know. I think that's what's going on with this conversation.
That doesn't come from anything religious, unless you say because I was brought up a Christian, it came from there. But
See. So when she says that, she's basically taking what I said and saying countering what I said as if it was what JP was saying, because JP was saying that, you know, that has a religious underpinning. She is saying that no, it doesn't. Okay, so I think I'm right about what I just said there.
I don't base it on that anymore.
Okay, she thinks it comes from a recognition that
I've done a lot of meditation. I've meditated every day for 30 years, and I think this has something to do with it. But it's observing the inner consequences of different ways of confronting the world. In recent years, in the habit of waking up in the morning, even if it's raining in January in England, and looking out and going, oh, and it's a feeling of gratitude, not gratitude towards God or towards anybody or anything, just free-floating gratitude. That seems to have a positive consequence. I set the day up better, and it's kind of self-perpetuating.
So yeah, she was talking about, I don't know where I chopped off at, but yeah, this whole free-floating gratitude. And I'm trying to figure out, you know, what does that mean, you know? You know, I think that even the concept of being thankful, or saying please, or so many things. I imagine many more things at least. But to feel thankful is, you have to be at a certain like level of perception to even experience the phenomena of being thankful, because you have to believe that the universe is in a certain way. And you have to kind of really give people you have to believe almost in a soul, deeply down. I mean, that's just kind of like, I'm kind of stemming off a little bit, but to be thankful, you have to think that the universe is not a machine. You really do. Because otherwise, you're just saying thanks out of utility, function, because you know that this other thing believes in it, believes in please and thank you and whatever. That's not what she's saying, but I'm just saying that's what, you know, from my perspective. And I try to, like, I feel like I'm really I'm really on that machine level, but at the same time, I'm constantly trying to figure out there's something else, right? And I feel like there is, obviously, because I'm conscious. But I'm gonna just keep going with this. This is my bullshit channel, man. Let's do it.
Something, and ultimately
Well,
God.
that's a good question.
That's what I was just saying, man.
That goes back
See,
to
I'm
our
right
discussion
in
about
the rings
acting
with
things
these
out.
niggas. I'm right in the rings with these niggas. I swear to God.
Like, gratitude is something you feel towards something. And you can say, well, I don't feel it towards anything in particular. And I would say, all right, well, the diffuse nothing that you feel it towards serves in your psychological hierarchy as your equivalent of God.
No, but it's gratitude. You know, this morning, for example, I looked out and it was so green. We've had frosts and it's been white the last few days, and it was green this morning. And it was just gratitude to the universe, if you like. It's
Gratitude, thank God the fucking grass is green and doesn't have frost on it. It's funny, right? She said the universe, right?
not really God because it's not a creator. It's not anything I can pray to. It's
Fair enough.
I know.
Why feel gratitude towards it?
I don't know, but
Why feel gratitude towards it? Then he does that goddamn JP nod. I'm just kidding.
find it.
Then
I know that you tackle in this book.
why feel gratitude towards it? Touche, nigga. We've been, that's subconscious. We've been just like, that's we've been done in.
That happiness is not an ultimate good, and I
No,
struggle
it's
this
just
right.
not an ultimate goal.
Oh, okay,
I
all
didn't
right.
say it wasn't an ultimate
All
good.
right, okay.
There's a big difference
yes,
between
you're
those
right,
things.
You're right, you picked me up correctly on that. Nevertheless, we are happiness-seeking creatures, and I have found through practice and growing older that acting gratitude,
With happiness, I think that our goals mean more happiness. I think that our goals, they mean more happiness. They're not necessarily happiness itself. But they would, I guess, ideally mean more happiness. I don't know. I think most people's goals mean more happiness in general. I mean, my goal is to, make an establishment and, solidify things for my family and blah, 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 blah. And like, hopefully, on average, I get a lot of more happiness out of that. But if that means I got to go on a mission, like, save my family and everything and, go Batman style and exhaust all my resources just to make it so they can get across or get, that might not mean my happiness. That's kind of an exaggerated example. But, it doesn't mean my happiness, but it does meet my goals as far as what I wanted to do. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of doing my thing right now.
It's a low goal. Not because there's something wrong with being happy, because, thank God if you get to be happy now and then. But I don't think that that's what we seek. A meaning that's deep enough to sustain us through tragedy. Be different.
Do you know, when I hit tragedy is too strong a word, I think, but when I
They go on to talk about what I just elaborated on. It's very interesting. So I have not watched this before. So she says, we are creatures that will just not do anything. And that's a little interesting because it's like, you're talking about how like, world's a horrible place, but move on, right? Talking about how, we're creatures that will not just do anything. That's true, though. I wonder if pain is going to come into this. Like Jordan Peterson has come up with pain, or he's talked about pain.
in the past a lot, and it's just natural now, is a very positive way of living, to accept the meaningless and ultimate emptiness of everything.
Okay, well, there it is.
And accept that this creature here, this thing, this evolved creature just will get on with life.
But you're not accepting the meaninglessness of it, even but.
Okay. You're not accepting the meaningless of it. What he's going to talk about unconscious drives that we have?
by going through those actions that you
You don't
described.
think so?
Not
Well,
at all,
how can
because
you say that?
because you're acting as if those things are meaningful.
Yes, I am. I'm
Right,
acting
okay,
as
so
though
let-
those
Are
things
you
are...
pretending
so
that
let-
they're meaningful?
Pardon?
Are you pretending that they're meaningful?
No, I'm not pretending. My way of putting it would be that those meanings are constructed by myself and others.
They're personal
and
Right.
they're
meanings rather than-
because of the kind of creatures we are, because of the meme
But they're not
plexes,
constructed.
Because of the meme complex or whatever.
Hunger
Jordan's
isn't
responses.
constructed. Neither is your desire
Hunger.
to use the lute. None of that.
It's evolved. It's about replication. It's about what has ever perpetuated itself. See, this is the thing. We can't be fully logical creatures. We can never be fully logical creatures. We have an amazing brain. Think about that. We have an amazing fucking brain. And you're telling me that through all this complex shit, we can put 2 and 2 together, right? Like literally 2 and 2, the information of 2 and 2. And we do that probably on so many more levels, computationally, okay? A whole lot of shit. We can't be logical creatures. We cannot be, okay? Because the moment we are fully logical is the moment we spin out of our fucking evolutionary success, okay? That's what happens. Once you can become a completely logical system or whatever, you try to logically whatever yourself out of everything. So I think, I'm not even done with all this right now. What we need to try to strive for is somehow coming up with a fully logical system that sits above us, that somehow manages to keep satisfy our illogical selves. Just kind of like by baiting ourselves a little bit. So we have to kind of create a system that is fully logical and just makes it bait us. It baits our illogical senses or whatever, our illogical desires. Man, I'm just going to be saying okay, let's do a dream world. Because that's what I've been saying before. That's what I kind of been saying before, where we put people into a safe chaos. We put the souls into a safe chaos. So it's put everybody into a dream world. And the dream world is basically, the composition of that comes from the noise of the unknown. And, the external noise from the universe. We live in this giant we live in this giant machine in some form of another. And, this giant machine receives the unknown inputs from the universe, and somehow that's translated into our dream world. And that's where the souls live. And the souls are the minds of these things, these wise creatures that have evolved for billions of years. There's some wisdom in that, I guess. And against the context of the level that we're at, against the level that we will, merge into, there's maybe some wisdom in how that is, so we got to uproot that from the souls themselves. And that is the utility of this dream world. So that's my thing, but I'm kind of going on and going, whatever. I mean, I need to get this shit out. They are a consequence of mimetic evolution. That's what she was just saying. These meanings are constructed